Jaya Radha Madhava Kunj Bihari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Bhajajana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai Shri Shri Radha Madhava Ki Jai, Shri Shri Radha Govardhana Ki Jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Aho Rupam Aho Dharyam Aho Asya Navam Vayaha Madhye Kamayamananam Akameva Visarpati Aho Rupam Aho Dharyam Aho Asya Navam Vayaha Madhye Kamayamananam Akameva Visarpati Aho Rupam Aho Dharyam Madhye Kamayamananam Akameva Visarpati Aho Rupam Aho Dharyam Aho Yasya Navam Vayaha Madhye Kamayamananam Akameva Visarpati. Ladies. Aho Rupam Aho Dharyam Aho asya navam vayaha madhye kamayamananam akameva visarpati. Aho, oh, rupam, what beauty. Aho, oh, dharyam, what self-control. Aho, oh, asyaha, her, navam, budding, vayaha, youth, madhye, in the midst, kamayamananam, of those passionately longing for, akama, free from passion, eva, like, visarpati, walking with us. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The demons praised her. Oh, what a beauty, what rare self-control, what a budding youth in the midst of us all who are passionately longing for her. She is moving about like one absolutely free from passion. Text 33. Vitar kayanto bahuda tam sandhyam pramada kritim abhisambhavya vishwambhat parya prichan kumedhasaha. Indulging in various speculations about the evening twilight, which appeared to them endowed with the form of a young woman, the wicked-minded asuras treated her with respect and fondly spoke to her as follows. Text 34. Kasi kasyasi rambhoru govartas te trabhamini rupa dravina panyena durbhagan nuvibadhase. Who are you, O pretty girl? Whose wife or daughter are you? And what can be the object of your appearing before us? Why do you tantalize us, unfortunate as we are, with the priceless commodity of your beauty? Purport. The mentality of the demons is being... The mentality of the demons in being enamored by the false beauty of this material world is expressed herein. The demoniac can pay any price for the skin beauty of this material world. They work very hard all day and night, but the purpose of their hard work is to enjoy sex life. Sometimes they misrepresent themselves as karma yogis, not knowing the meaning of the word yoga. Yoga means to link up with the Supreme Personality of Godhead, or to act in Krishna consciousness. A person who works very hard, no matter in what occupation, and who offers the result of the work to the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is called a karma yogi. Om Ajnana Timidandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshu Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So when Srila Sanatana Goswami left his engagement with the government, he was engaged with the government of Bengal, so he had a huge position as the manager of 20, 30 million people, that whole area. He was managing that, and he gave that up. And he had fabulous wealth, so he gave some of that wealth to the jailkeeper, telling the jailkeeper, just tell the Nawab that I've jumped in the Ganges with my chains on and I've got washed away and killed. So like that, and he went through so many adventures, and finally he arrived. He had a servant. That servant kept one gold coin back, so he sent the servant home. He still had that gold coin. He said, well, you're not ready for renounced life. You still want to rely on that. You go home, that's okay, no problem. So then he was walking and he came to a place called Hajipur. And there happened to be the husband of his sister, Srikanta, who was in government service also, and he was buying horses for he had 300,000 gold coins. You can imagine what that was worth in today's currency. But his brother-in-law gave him this a nice blanket, like a chadar basically, a nice blanket, and said, stay here for some days, get yourself cleaned up, eat nicely. And Sanatan Dabiyakasa is the name at the time. He said, I'm not going to stay here at all. And he immediately left. And he went to Varanasi, where he met Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was staying at the house of Chandrasekhar Acharya. And Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, being omniscient, knew that Sanatana Goswami was outside. And he told Chandrasekhar that you go outside and see there's one great devotee there. My very dear devotee is outside. And Chandrasekhar, he went outside and he didn't see anyone, but he saw a Muslim mendicant, like a kind of a big long beard and looked like a follower of Muhammad. And he said, he came back to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and he said, I don't see any devotee there, but there's one Muslim mendicant. He said, yeah, call that Muslim mendicant. So Sanatana Goswami came in and Lord Chaitanya immediately embraced him and started cleansing his body with his own hands, and he was crying in tears of divine ecstasy that he'd been reunited with his eternal intimate associate, Sanatana Goswami. And then he said, very nice that you're here. And he sent him out to get a shave. So you can see from this pastime that Lord Chaitanya, he liked his followers to be, cleanly shaved. He liked that. We don't need to discuss this way or what. We can just read Chaitanya Charitamrita. It's right there. So he sent Sanatana Goswami out to get a shave. And then he came back and then Sanatana Goswami asked him this question. He said that, when I was back in Bengal and I was managing the government and I was also studying, he knew so many different languages, Sanskrit and Persian and Bengali, all so many different languages, very, very learned. He said, people, they're calling me a very learned person. He said, but actually, I don't know who I am. He said, Kayami, who am I? And Lord Chaitanya started to instruct him, and he instructed him in many, many things. But first of all, he glorified him that and Sanatana Goswami said, I'm suffering in so many different ways, and Lord Chaitanya began by glorifying him and saying that you are not suffering. You're a devotee of Krishna. You're absorbed in Krishna consciousness, so there's no suffering for you. You're beyond the modes of material nature. But anyway, he went on, and the very first thing he said, the very first answer, just like in Bhagavatam, we have the sages of Naimisharanya, they're giving so many questions to Sutta Goswami, right? And what's the first answer? What is the first answer in this thing, this whole line of questions? What should a person do? What's the ultimate dharma? What's the ultimate duty for someone? He says, Savai pumsam paro dhammo, jato bhakti adhoksajan. Like that. The second chapter of that first canto is the entire, Krishna consciousness is given there. So in the same way, Lord Chaitanya, he started to reply to Sanatana Goswami. In the very first instruction he gave, and tellingly, this is chapter 20, verse number, does anybody know? Verse number 108. Verse number 108. And he gives this very famous verse. This is his first instruction to Sanatana Goswami. When Sanatana Goswami is saying, who am I? What am I meant to do? Who am I? And he gives this very famous verse. Jivara surupahai krishnera nityadas. Krishnera tatasta shakti. Veda veda prakash. Very famous verse. And here he explains what is the actual position of Sanatana Goswami, what is the actual position of every living soul. So what is the important thing? He says, Veda Veda Prakash. that one with the Lord. In other words, that you are spiritual, but you're different as well. Beda. In some ways, you're the same as God. You're actually a spiritual. You're not this dull matter. You're a spiritual consciousness, pure conscious entity, but in some ways you're different. You're not complete consciousness. You're not consciousness of everything. God's consciousness of everyone, right? Krishna says, he's to Arjuna, right? He says, why I'm different to you? He says, because you're conscious of your body, right? If you walk on a thorn, it hurts your foot. But God is conscious of everybody, super conscious. So he says, Beda Prakash. But the actual situation, what is the essence? How does he describe that in one verse? Jivara Surupa Krishnara Nityadas, Krishnara Tatasta Shakti. He uses this word Shakti, right? That he says to Sanatan that you and all the living entities, you are a Shakti of the Lord. What is Shakti? This is a concept that is given in Sanskrit. There's Shakti and Shaktiman, right? There's the energetic source and there's the energy. It's like we have the sun is up there, you can see. Why do we know the sun is there? How do we know? Because the sunshine, right? Was that what you were going to say? Because the sunshine, right? So, what's the meaning to the sun without sunshine? There's no meaning. The sun is amazing because it gives sunshine. As soon as the sun comes up, we can see everything. So the sun is the source of energy, Shaktiman, and the sunshine is the Shakti, the energy. So Lord Chaitanya immediately is telling Sanatan that you are not the source of the energy. You are not the controller of the energy. You are controlled. You are the energy. You are the controlled. There's a controller, supreme controller, and you are the controlled, Shakti. We know in Bhagavad Gita, when Krishna goes through all of the different, aspects of the material world, Bhumi apo nalo vayu kamano buddhi evacha ahankara ityami binna prakriti ashtada, he says these are my 8 separated material energies, right? And then he says, apariyamitastvanyam prakritim vidi me param jiva bhuta mahabaho jayadam dharyate jagat. That he says above these subtle and gross material energies, there is the jiva soul. Apariyamitastvanyam. Para. Above that. Apariyamitastvanyam prakritim vidi. And he uses the same word. Shakti, prakriti means the same thing, the energy. Prakritim vidi me param. My supreme energy, he says. So Krishna gives that. And Lord Chaitanya is saying the same thing here to Sanatana Goswami, that you are the energy. We can see then later on in the 13th chapter, when Arjuna is asking, how does the soul, interact with this world and try to do so many things, nature, the enjoying consciousness, he gives this also very famous verse, Purusha prakritisto hi bhunkte prakriti jan gunan karanam guna sangosyad sad asad yoni janmasu. And in this verse he switches it around, where the tattva, the description, the actual swarup of the living entity is described in the 7th chapter as being the Shakti, the Prakriti. Then he starts by saying the living entity artificially takes this form, that takes this mood, Purusha Prakritisto. And in this sense he says Prakriti as the material energy. That the living entity takes the position of Purusha, of the controller, artificially. It's not his real swarup. But this is how. And Karanam Guna Sangosya Sad Asad Yoni Janmasu. He takes inauspicious and auspicious births due to associating with different modes of nature in this mood as the enjoyer. Purusha Prakriti Stohi. So here we can see in this pastime that the demons are essentially the soul that has taken this form taken this mood of Purusha to an extreme level. And we know that this is the ultimate reason, right, that we've come to this material world. Krishna Bhuliya Se Jiva Nadi Bahimukha, that by turning away from Krishna, and that the essence of that turning away is turning away from this position as Shakti, as Das, as the Prakriti, as enjoyed by Krishna, as being the one to be enjoyed by Krishna. Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati used to say, don't try to see God, don't try to be the one that controls, I can see, no. He said, just try to be seen by Him. Try to be enjoyed by Him. This is the mood, right? So the Asuras, they're taking this position, Purusha, they're taking this position, and this is how we come into this material world, all of us, except for the liberated souls who have come to release everybody else. So maybe some here, I'm not sure. But in general, most of us, we've come here because we turned away from Krishna, we turned away from that position as Krishna's servant, and we wanted to try to imitate Krishna's position as the enjoyer, as the controller of energies, rather than the controlled energy. And so we can see that the demons are very interested in control. They're interested in, it's being described here, being the enjoyer of the sex life, being what is it? Nadanam, Najanam, Nasundarim, all these things, having followers, having, beautiful partners, and having wealth. This is the demonic mentality. And Lord Chaitanya said, I don't want that, I don't want that, I don't want that. So this is the symptom of taking this position as the enjoyer. And what we learn in Bhakti Yoga is that the ultimate salve, or the ultimate, medicine, Oshadhi Maya, Harinama Mahamantra, the ultimate medicine is to take the Mahamantra in a service way, to take this position again. All the other kinds of yoga, they are to some degree or another still embracing this element of control. We're controlling our mind, controlling our body, controlling the life airs. We're controlling karma by doing karma yoga and getting the karmas to go in our favor and so forth. But only Bhakti Yoga, it gets right to the root of this issue, which is coming back to the position of the Shakti, the controlled, the enjoyed, rather than the enjoyer. And so the devotees are always trying to do these things. And of course, it's not that the devotees can just immediately give up all, all the what you call, like it's a habit of enjoying for millions of lifetimes. But the process, Kevalananda Kanda, is that the devotees can use that ability. They have the ability, they want to control money, control resources. They do that for Krishna. They do that on behalf of Krishna, and gradually they become purified. Gradually, very quickly, they become purified because the actual, the root, the actual, what they're trying to do is to serve Krishna, to offer those things to Krishna as a service, and not become the standalone enjoyer of those things. For the demons, no question, right? They're just fully absorbed, trying to take this position of the enjoyer, and they're thinking life after life that they will be happy in this way. We know this is, as is said right in the verse, passion. We know this symptom of the mode of passion. What's the symptom of happiness in the mode of passion? Yatada gre Mritopamam pariname vishamiva, right? In the beginning it's like nectar, wonderful, and in the end like poison. So this is the demoniac happiness, right? What's the happiness in goodness? Yatade gre mritopama vishamiva pariname mritopama, the opposite, right? In mode of goodness, it's like bitter in the beginning. It's not like, but then in the end, so the devotees are interested in happiness, in goodness, and ultimately in transcendence, of course, beyond goodness. But the demons, they just want this happiness. And happiness in the mode of goodness is joy, right? It's a joy within. It's the joy of understanding. It's the joy of doing something or helping someone just because it should be done. It's just the right thing to do. It gives an inner joy. This is mode of goodness. Whereas the demonic happiness is, I will control, I will get that. What is it? I am perfect, powerful, and happy. I am, what is it? I have killed all of my enemies and I will enjoy. This is mode of passion, right? And good dose of ignorance in there as well. One sec, we'll call for questions at the end. So this is the happiness in passion, the demons getting this, the happiness of controlling and enjoying, and it's not really even happiness, isn't it? It's a type of material happiness, but it's not happiness. It's some kind of like excitement. Yes, I got that gold thing, I got this person, I got that position, whatever it is. But that's not the inner joy. It's not the joy of mode of goodness. Mode of goodness is a joy, inner joy. So here we're seeing that the demons are very interested in controlling and enjoying the material world, and this is against their actual nature. This is against the actual very nature of the soul. So the devotees were always trying to, have the right mentality, have the service mentality. This is the thing. We have to, continually we're trying to understand, okay, am I doing this out of service? How can I do this as a service? How can I try to do more service? Because that's actually the position of our soul. Lord Chaitanya is saying, Krishnera Nityadas, Krishnera Tatastha Shakti. And, we see practically, when we do things as a service to Krishna, service to the devotees in a spiritual sense, then we are extremely happy. We get that, wow, this is fantastic, We chant in a mood of service, then we're very happy. So I'll stop there. Yeah, the battery is finished. Okay, look at the mic. Haribol. Yep, Sadhu Seva Das. Question? Very good question. Yeah. So does anyone know the answer? What's the happiness in the mode of ignorance? Or is there any? There's not really any happiness in the mode of ignorance. Exactly. Yeah. So mode of goodness, it's like very difficult in the beginning. It's like, it feels like it's hard to like get up, go to Mangalarti, chant your rounds. It's like hard, it's like, oh. But then you do that, then later on you feel, wow, I feel so happy, it's so nice. And mode of passion is like, yes, I'm gonna be famous and rich and all these different things, wonderful. But then later on, it's so many sufferings that go along with that mentality. But mode of ignorance, it's just in the beginning, it's like, there's no happiness. And then in the end, it's also. So mode of ignorance is like intoxication, sleep, all these kind of things. Basically, mode of goodness is just like a neutral position. You're basically observing the world, you're aware, you're conscious, but you don't have an interest in the world. This is material mode of goodness. You do something just because it should be done. Someone needs help, something like that. Mode of passion is going out. The consciousness is leaving, it's going out. I want to do that, I want to achieve that, I want to get that. That's mode of passion. And mode of ignorance is withdrawing. The world is too much, it's all too much. I don't want to take some intoxication, I'll just sleep, be lazy. That's a mode of ignorance. So it's like withdrawing. These are the three states of consciousness. Okay. Anything else? Any other question? No question? Should I talk some more? It's only 10 past, not even 10 past 8. Sorry? Read the verse again. Okay, good idea. Thank you. Haribol. Okay, let's read the verse again. All 3 verses or just the last one? Whatever. We'll just read the last one. Okay. Oh, here we go. Who are you, O pretty girl? Whose wife or daughter are you? And what can be the object of your appearing before us? Why do you tantalize us, unfortunate as we are, with the priceless commodity of your beauty? I'll read the purport, it's just quick purport. The mentality of the demons is being enamored by the false beauty of this material world is expressed herein. The demoniac can pay any price for the skin beauty of this material world. They work very hard all day and night, but the purpose of their hard work is to enjoy sex life. Sometimes they misrepresent themselves as karma yogis, not knowing the meaning of the word yoga. Yoga means to link up with the Supreme Personality of Godhead or to act in Krishna consciousness. Interesting problem, makes a distinction there, right? Yoga means to link up with the Supreme Personality of Godhead or to act in Krishna consciousness. In a sense, he's not really saying this or that, he's just defining it again. When you say something is that or it's that, like he's just defining again, acting in Krishna consciousness, right? A person who works very hard, no matter in what occupation, and who offers the result of the work to the service of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Krishna, is called a karma yogi. Is anyone? Yes, Lucas. Do you want to?
With the question that Sanatana Goswami was asking Lord Chaitanya, obviously he's a Nitya Siddha, so would it just be for pastime's sake that he's asking these questions, or is he asking what his eternal form is in Vrindavan? Or what's the situation?
Question is, when Sanatana Goswami is asking the question, because he's a Nitya Siddha, so was he just asking it out of a pastime, or is he asking it like what is his identity in spiritual world? Like who is he? There may be a third option. There may be a third option. Interesting that even the devotees in the spiritual world, they're in illusion, right? You know, yoga maya. So they're in illusion, but the difference between yoga maya and mahamaya is that yoga maya brings one closer, more loving service, more closer in divine love to Krishna, to God. And mahamaya takes one away from Krishna. So even Krishna himself, right? We have the Damodar Lila we just had in Damodar month. Even Krishna himself, he's actually experiencing that, right? So he is the supreme, but he's so supreme that he can make himself small and experience the fear out of his mother chasing him. You can experience that. So this is kind of, Achincha, a bit inconceivable, obviously. It's not just like, he knows everything, so no, it's like he is personally the supreme, so he can do those things. So, in a sense, although, Sanatana Goswami is Nitya Siddha, and this is a more subtle point, but sometimes it's described, in some place described, that Rupa Raghunath Pari, that Rupa Goswami and Raghunath Das Goswami were Nitya Siddhas, eternal associates, and the others were something slightly different. This is a very subtle nuance, right? But sometimes it's described like that, right? In that way. However, at the same time, all the six Goswamis, Sanatana Goswami, his eternal form is given by the Acharyas. This is his eternal form. This is his Leela. This was his service. So yes, he's a Nityasiddha also. These are more subtle points that beyond our understanding. But anyway, in essence, he's feeling that. He's feeling that. And yes, it is a pastime, but when it's in relation to the Lord himself, the Yogamaya is acting. So the devotee is feeling that, like, I don't know who I am. They're saying I'm, a great, learned person, but I feel like I don't even know who I am. So, if all the Nityasiddhas just came and just all of a sudden they could do everything perfectly, is it working? Then it wouldn't be that inspiring for the conditioned souls, right? So, one example that comes to mind is Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Now, if you read Bhaktivinoda Thakur's autobiography, he says there that interestingly at first, he was much more attracted to Christianity than Hinduism, which is an interesting thing. Because he really wasn't into that. It was called the Brahmo Samaj, they were called. And they were very, very impersonalist, mostly in West Bengal, most of India at that time. Vivekananda was very prominent. So they're very impersonal. And he was going to a Christian school. So he preferred the Christians, although their lifestyle wasn't as sattvic, their eating habits, etc. But at least they were worshipping a personal God. So interesting point he writes there. That he much preferred that philosophy of the Christians than the predominantly impersonal Hindu philosophy of the time. But then he gradually found, after long searching, he found a copy of Chaitanya Charitamrita. And he says that when I first read the Chaitanya Charitamrita the first time, I thought that Nimai Pandit, Lord Chaitanya, was a great scholar. He was like extremely learned, the most learned person. And then he said the second time I read it, and he's reading in Bengali. So in Bengali, it's a big book, but in Bengali it's readable. Like for us, it's like with Prabhupada's purports and everything. It's a really big book. But in Bengali, there's like, you can read it in, I don't know how long it took to read it, maybe a few weeks or something, maybe less. He's just reading directly the Bengali. So he said the second time I read it, I came to understand that Lord Chaitanya is the Supreme Lord. He's the Supreme Consciousness, come incarnated in this world as Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And he said, then the third time I read it, he said, then I started to feel symptoms of bhava. He said, and it was wonderful. I started to actually, my heart melted and I came, there's Tadara, Jastamo, Bhava, there's described in the same second chapter of Bhagavatam, this first canto, second chapter is just incredibly intense. The philosophy is all there. So anyway, in there it goes to the stage of Bhava. It's talking about this actual awakening of love of God. And so we can see from that, and he describes his symptoms and how he felt and so on and so forth. So, we know as sadhakas, we've been reading Chaitanya Charitamrita in different books for so many years, decades, and we feel we're making some progress, but it's not like we read and like 2 weeks later we were on the Bhava platform, right? Not like that. But for him it was like that. Right? So we can see this is Yogamaya, this is pastime of the Lord. But at the same time, it's not that he didn't experience that, he experienced that. He was experiencing, I prefer the Christian philosophy, it's more personal than a Chaitanya. Like he describes it, he just literally tells us, I thought, oh wow, he is a great scholar. Then I thought, oh wow, he's actually the Lord. Then so like that. Similarly, although he's the Nityasiddha, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, we can see from his life, his production of books, his philosophy, his just how much shelter he gave to everyone at that time. What to speak of now, still. But he was going through that experience that the Lord had arranged, that Yogamaya had arranged, so that we can, as conditioned soul, we can understand. We can see the process, although it happens very quickly for them. Yeah. But it's the same process we're meant to take. It's just it may take, a few lifetimes for us. More or less, depending on how much we apply ourselves. Maybe one lifetime. Prabhupada said if we're serious, it can happen in one lifetime. We don't know what we've done in previous lives, how much service we've done or how much not done or whatever. So different things. But we can see, Arjuna, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Sanatana Goswami. They're not ordinary people. They've come into this world and they're manifesting through Yogamaya a certain pastime, but at the same time it's not like they're pretending, right? They're experiencing those things. Yeah. Like that. Is there any other question or yes? Hey, Gopal. Gopal's question. Oh, just take the mic.
Do you remember the identity of Sanatana Goswami in the spiritual world? Is it some Manjari? Do you remember the name? Can you tell me? Okay. Anyway, my question. Anyway, it doesn't matter. But my question was like, when you just. It doesn't. But like you said, when Lord Chaitanya saw him again, this eternal relationship, Lord Chaitanya's thinking of this. But if Lord Chaitanya is in the mood of Krishna right now, and he's seeing, I don't know, I'm thinking like, if Krishna sees this Manjari, like, is that what he does with them as well in the spiritual world?
But who's Lord Chaitanya in the mood of, predominantly? Hey. Right from the beginning. Remember why he took sannyas, right? Why he took sannyas? He was calling out Gopi, Gopi, Gopi. He's in the mood of Radharani. And he's chastising Krishna. Who is this Krishna? And the students came and said, why are you chanting the name of Gopi? Chant the name of Krishna, you'll get so much punya, you'll get liberation, all these things. He said, Krishna, that rascal, and he starts to blaspheme Krishna. They're like, oh. So, yeah. He was in the mood of Radharani, from the beginning. Shri Radhara Bhavalana Chaitanya Avatar, Yugadhamanam Prabhu. So he's Krishna, that's his identity, that's who he is, but then he's in the mood of Radharani. In different pastime, of course, Mahaprakash, he was in the pastime of the Supreme Lord Vishnu, giving all the blessings to everyone, so forth. So. But in this sense, you mostly find, when you find that these relationships with Ramananda Roy and Srupa Damodar, this is Vishaka Lalita Sakis, and so he's, obviously not qualified to talk. I don't know, exactly what the relationship was. But we can understand in general, they're the maidservants of Srimati Radharani, and he's in that mood, and he's meeting them again. And they're helping him, they're helping him in that intense separation from Krishna that Srimati Radharani was feeling after Krishna left Vrindavan. So they would talk the pastimes of Krishna and sing different songs of Jayadeva and different things. His intimate associates, they're placating this, like when Krishna left, then all the gopis would, she was in such intense separation, so then the different gopis, they would make pastimes, oh, is it Krishna lifting? He'll say, oh, then she'd feel some connection, she'd feel some relief from that separation. So in that same way, that was going on between, yeah. Anything else? Any other question? Hare Krishna. Thank you very much for coming for class. Jai, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai.